Conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. I'm John Comby. I have been a therapist for a number of years and get the privilege of chairing the great work of the Rules Advisor.
Phyllis,
I'm sorry, what?
introduce yourself, please.
Oh, my name's Phyllis Nasta, Sherwood, Oregon.
All right, Jonathan. Okay, we'll come back to Jonathan. He's driving. Karen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karen Waits. I live in Portland and I've been in practice since 1997.
Jamin.
My name is Jamin Rock. I practice in Portland, Oregon. I've been in practice since 1999, and my LMP number is 6927.
Would you like me to do a quick intro?
Yes.
Okay,
please.
I didn't know if it was a good time or not. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Jonathan Anderson. I'm a new massage therapist in the past 6 months, but so massage has been a reboot of my career. I've been in the tech industry for a long time and on a lot of boards. So maybe I have a new flavor or slant to what's happening with new and emerging LMTs. Maybe that's part of what I can contribute. Thanks.
Hi, Carol.
Yeah, I'm Carol Gray. I'm in Portland. I'm the board liaison for this committee and been practicing since 1990.
My name is Ekaite. I'm the policy analyst for the Oregon Board of Massage Therapists. Set.
Perfect. It appears we have other participants today.
Yes, not in the public, yeah.
Okay.
Ariel, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi there, good morning. My name is Ariel. I have been in LMT in Oregon since 2009, and I'm in Portland.
Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Carrie Weed, and I'm owner and director of Gorge Academy of Cosmetology and Massage out in the Columbia River Gorge area.
I'm Daniel Steinmetz. I live in Portland, Oregon. My license is 5948.
And
I'm hoping the general public can get some direction on how we're supposed to conduct ourselves or not, how to participate or not participate.
Of course. And Seth just made a comment. All right, doing all the fun intros. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 9:08. And again, thank you for showing up. That's part of the fun of making a change and being part of the process. Thank you, Akaite, for doing the reach out to get some meetings scheduled. I know everyone's busy, and I appreciate the flexibility to get some meetings on the schedule so we can get this work done and back to the board with a proposal and draft form. So I believe from our charge at the last meeting, first of all, housekeeping, public, this is a committee meeting, and we will have time for public comment at the end of our time pertaining to the information we're discussing. So if you can just hold your excellent questions until that time, that would be helpful so the committee can stay on focus. And thank you for attending. So from what I gathered, again, I am just the chair of the committee. So if any committee members remember differently from our last meeting, please correct me. The task from the board is, it sensed like the priority to the committee was to work through the process for the most recent, I believe it was a House bill, not a Senate bill, even though our email referenced a Senate bill, the 3819. It was referenced as a Senate bill, not a House bill. So to work through the language, look at the placards, and that was their top priority for us to get back to the board for a decision. And then the additional things we were tasked with, facility permits, update the language, CPR, look at that requirement that is currently BLS, and the next 3 tasks were add mandatory reporter training for a possible CE and fix rules regarding zombie licenses, clarify rules around dual relationships. So I was feeling, if the committee's liking, starting with the top 2 and looking at the information that Akaide's already given us in her email yesterday. Does that sound like a fair approach for the committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And Akaite has a presentation. Is that your note, Akaite?
Yes. Okay, so at the last committee meeting, there were a lot of questions, and we did promise to look into it and bring you back some answers. And we have done that. I know there will be more, so we will do that. We will do it in this format. But before anything else, let me just pull it up here so that we can have it on record. So please give me a moment while I share the screen. Okay, all right. Can everybody see that? Okay, all right. Let us begin. Hold on. All right. So the Oregon Board of Massage, the committee was put together, of course, to get this thing done, to get what the board needs, to be able to get the rules together for this House bill that John was talking about. So first, I want to welcome everybody, and we will be covering that information today in these questions. So the question, one of the questions that was brought up was, is this committee subject to public meeting laws? And the answer is yes. I am working with multiple screens, so please forgive me. Okay, there we are. And the answer is yes. The committee is a public subject to public meeting laws. In essence, so if you are appointed, if you are elected as a governing to serve on a governing body like the Board of Massage or Commission or what have you, yes, we are subject to public meeting laws. The next question is so it just goes into what are the requirements. So Oregon public meeting law mandates that public bodies must conduct their meeting in public and make decision openly. And that's the purpose of this meeting. When we have meetings, we send out notices, we send out the recording. We want to make sure that we get it to as many people as possible. Oftentimes we don't get a lot of attendance, but the goal is, even if we get one person show up, that is something that we've really, it's an accomplishment because somebody is here to view what we are doing and how we are doing it. So we do have a quorum requirement, and we do have notice requirements. We do have recording requirements. The recording requirement started about 2-3 years ago. And before then, the board has already, we've already been doing recordings. So we are always ahead of the game before things start happening. And that's really a good thing for us. So right now, we try to post the minute within the recording within seven days. If the board meeting happens or the committee meeting happens, you will have the recording posted within 7 business days. Also, we're not required to do minutes anymore, but sometimes I will post summary depending on, if it is a board meeting, if there were votes, and then the compliance stuff. But for committee meeting, we will use the recording as the information for the minutes. Now, the question, are you a public official per Oregon law? Yes. So are you a public official? Public official is defined in ORS 224.020 as the first partner and any person who, when an alleged violation of ORS Chapter 244 occurs, in serving the state of Oregon or any of its political subdivisions or any other public body as defined in ORS 174.109 as an elected official, appointed official, employee or agent, irrespective of whether the person is compensated for the service. So whether you're volunteering or getting a stipend, or getting paid, you are a public official in Oregon. Elected or appointed, as mentioned. So an unpaid volunteer for a state, county, regional, city, intergovernmental agency, or special district are all public official. So the answer is you are a public official. So that's important to note. Okay. What being a government body and public official mean to this committee and you, of course. So first, as we have already discussed, you are subject to Oregon public meeting laws. What that means is we must notice the meeting. The meeting will be called to order, which the chair has done by the chair. Roll will be taken to ensure quorum. Votes needed to be taken on issues being sent to the board for consideration. So you, the committee members, will be making a motion and voting to make recommendation to the board based on your discussion and agreement. Now that's very important when we say, you're making a motion and voting is to get consensus. You are not making the final decision for the board. You are making that decision within your committee. So that's very important to distinguish. Meeting will be recorded and minutes compiled. Posting of recording will suffice as minutes, as mentioned before. Meeting will be open to the public and decisions will be made in public. So no secret ballots, no decision outside of this arena. What being a government body and public official mean to this committee and you? Additionally, you must follow Oregon government ethics law. Some key points to consider. Now, I don't know if you all remember, we had a training before the meeting, the committee, any of this started. Once you got your notice that you were in the committee, we had a training to cover the ethics and all of that stuff. I don't know if you remember. It's been a minute. But this is just to give you a brief synopsis of what that entails. So the provision in Oregon government ethics law restricts some choices, decisions, or actions of a public official. The restrictions placed on the public officials are different than those placed on private citizens because service in a public office is a public trust, and the provisions in ORS Chapter 244 were enacted to provide one safeguard for that trust. One provision, which is the cornerstone of Oregon government ethics law, prohibits public officials from using or attempting to use their official positions or offices to obtain a financial benefit for themselves. So oftentimes we will have, when we'll start doing this moving forward is when you're introducing your stuff. If you have any conflict of interest, that will be the perfect opportunity to note that. So if you're a CE provider, if you if you are with a school, with an organization, it will be a good time to, declare whether you have potential conflict of interest or actual conflict of interest. So that would be a good way to do that, to just keep things as transparent as possible. All right, so relatives or businesses with which they are associated if that financial benefit or opportunity for financial gain would not otherwise be available but for the position or office held. Oregon government ethics law identifies and defines two types of conflicts of interest. An actual conflict of interest is defined in ORS 244.020 subsection 1, and a potential conflict of interest, which is also defined in ORS 244.020 subsection 13. In brief, a public official is met with a conflict of interest when participating in official action which would or could result in a financial benefit or detriment to the public official, a relative of the public official, or a business with which either is associated. The Oregon Government Ethics Law Guide put out by the Oregon Government Ethics Commission defines these topics more clearly and gives specific examples which can assist public officials. The link to that guide, as well as the Governor's Board Member Handbook, are at the bottom of this page. I will send this to all of you after this. All right, so now we're back to the committee. The OBMT Rules Committee, the OBMT is granted the authority per its bylaws to establish committees to carry out the work of the board. Per Article 10, Committee and Subcommittees, Section 1, Standing Committees, Special Ad hoc and Subcommittees may be created by the board and may be suspended or abolished in the same manner. Special committees may also be authorized by the chair to meet emergency needs. All committees shall report to the board. So by the chair of the board. Section 2, committee chairs shall be appointed by the board. Members of committees shall be appointed by the board. Vacancies on committee shall be filled in the same manner. Committees are established to carry on the work of the board. Members shall be appointed to committee assignments until conclusion of the committee assignment or committee members' resignation or removal by the board. Section 4 says, special committees as authorized in Section 1 shall be appointed to study and evaluate various aspects of policy, programs, or projects and will recommend courses of action to the board. A special committee may exist as long as there remains concern by the board for the committee's area of interest. Section 5, all committees shall have not less than 3 members. Section 2, each member of the board, any committee or subcommittee, and other subordinate units of the board shall have 1 vote in the respective body. The Rules Committee is charged, at the direction of the board, assist the board with preparing the statement of need and fiscal impact statement when there are rule changes, and review rules and statutes for consistency of language and content. Additional training and information. This is a very brief informational session regarding committee responsibilities, responsibilities of public officials and public meetings law. If you are interested in additional information, you can find it at the Oregon Governor's Board and Commission website, as well as the Oregon Government Ethics Commission website. If the committee is interested, we can also, me, Bob, set up some time at one of these committee meetings to have our Department of Justice attorney, as well as representative of the Oregon Government Ethics Commission, conduct a brief presentation and Q&A session for committee members. All right, now we go into our task, which is the House Bill 3819A. This was 2025 legislation. Representative Tran put forth a bill in the 2025 session that modified many of OBMT's current law. One of those modification additions included adding the ability of the board to place a plaquehead sticker on businesses that were not complying with the requirement to obtain a facility permit or employ properly licensed massage therapists. Prior to submitting this legislative concept, which eventually became House Bill 3819, Representative Tran asked the OBMT staff to provide the rationale for updating Oregon law. Below is the proposed modification to Oregon revised statutes, as well as the rationale for the potential update that was provided to Representative Tran and her staff. I can go into the juicy details, but I will save it for your read. The bill, House Bill 3819, was introduced by Representative Tran and Senator Taylor on February 27, 2025, and was referred to the House Judiciary Committee, which held a work session and took public comment. The bill passed the House and was referred to the Senate Judiciary Committee, which again held a work session, took testimony and public comment, and passed the bill on June 2, 2025. And the bill was signed by the governor on June 11, 2025. The bill became law with an effective date of January 1, 2026. The bill was opposed by a panel, one of Oregon's largest standing Asian grassroots advocacy organization. We advised Representative Tran and members of her staff, as well as Senator Taylor, that neither this board or this law will adversely affect legitimate massage practitioners, nor those who wish to become properly licensed in Oregon. OBMT has worked tirelessly to facilitate licensure to anyone who wishes to become properly licensed in Oregon. OBMT's outreach effort include decades of efforts to assist those of every background to become properly licensed in practicing the professional safely. Our panel's position is in the below link, so you can take a look once this is all done. I'll send this out to everyone too. All right. This is the final bill. A copy has also been sent to you. I did email you the copy of the bill, and here is the revision to Oregon Revised Statute, which is on our website, the Oregon Board of Massage Therapists website, if you need an updated copy. All right, the new placket language in statute is, you can find that in that on our website as well under ORS 687.250 subsection 4. That is the new placket language. The assignment is for the placket language, so we need to come up with rules to further expand on that language. All right, possible language to consider for an OER. I will share this as we continue our work. And thank you. Now, if you have any questions, you can send me an email or Bob an email, and we will be happy to address those for you at the next committee meeting. Thank you. All right, John, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Kaite, and hopefully that helped summarize some of the questions that were presented in our January gathering. And welcome in any new attendees. If you're attending as a public member, we will have public comment at the end of the meeting. While the committee's working, we do ask to hold the questions until the end. Thank you. So with the task in front of us, what is the committee's feel of working forward? Would we like to take the rule proposals and then digest those? And I've found with committee work in the past, it's nice to include everyone and their thoughts and let it, it's not a process that's arrived at easily. I think a lot of great people are on this committee and everyone has good feedback. So I'm hoping we can have everyone's input to come up with a proposal for the board. So does everyone have the possible language that Akaite has presented in front of them? Does anyone not have the proposed language?
I have it.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to read through it, or should we take a moment and read through it and then kind of walk through if there's anything that committee members are feeling we want to address, we can, and just take it step by step.
I'd rather take a moment and read it now again, because when I read it by myself, it didn't really connect much. But with the auspices of all these other people here, I'll take it more seriously and read it.
Perfect. Would the committee like it read out loud, or do you want to just, if you're able to read it to yourself, would you rather that?
Could we please have it read out loud?
Okay, perfect. And Akaite, could you, that is pretty small print for my eyes right now, but if you could read that, that would help.
Yes. All right. Possible language to consider for an OAR. So new rule, notice on non-compliant facilities. It would be a new rule number. So it would be 334-020-00, and then the number will be generated. So it would be enforcement placard. 1. In accordance with ORS 687.250 subsection 4, upon a determination by the board that a massage facility is in violation of ORS 687.021 and employs or contracts with persons to practice massage who are not licensed under ORS 687.011 to 687.250, 6 and then ORS 687.895 and ORS 687.991. In addition to any other disciplinary action, the board may post on the exterior of the premises a placard that states the massage facility is in violation of ORS 687.021, and the placard may also contain any other information required by the board. Notices must describe the specific violation and the unlawful status of the facility. Number 2, unauthorized removal or defacement of a board posted notice constitute a violation subject to discipline, fines, or both, in accordance with ORS 687.250 subsection 4. Number 3, the board may adopt procedures for posting, removal, and public notice.
Super. Thank you, Akaite. Jamin, you've got a hand up?
Sorry about that. I couldn't see where she was reading from, but I finally found the document. So thank you.
Thank you. So with the delightful reading from Akaite of the proposed rule language, let's just walk through initial thoughts from the committee. And Jamin, is your hand back up, or?
It is back up for
Okay.
a much better thought.
Go ahead.
So the only thing that kind of stood out to me is placard is singular. I would assume with a lot of these places of business I've seen, there might be multiple entry points. So I just want to make sure we want to be limiting ourselves to just one placard, but each placard on every entry point. That way they couldn't just divert customers to another door so the customers wouldn't see the placard.
Thank you. Other committee members having initial thoughts or concerns on what we've heard?
I have a question, not a concern. I just wanted, I expect, but has this initial draft language already been reviewed and approved by legal as well?
Kaite, I think you're talking, but your mic is off.
Yes, it was.
There you go.
I believe that it may or may not be. However, whatever
And if,
work is. Mhm.
yeah, if it's not required at this point, it's fine. I was just wondering the status. You know what I mean? Are we talking about already reviewed, draft? And if it's not known and we have to come back to that, that's perfectly fine too. I just wanted to understand that, to not propose to change anything that's already been, unless there's a need that's already been reviewed and approved. That was my point.
Thank you, Jonathan. And just historically speaking, on committee work I've been in the past, proposed language historically was just not put in front of legal until it was put in front of the board, as opposed to having legal consistently give their thoughts and then we changed something drastically. I could be wrong on that though.
That's my recollection too, is that this committee submits proposed language to the board. The board may say, yeah, we like it, let's go with it. And there'll be some legal review at that point, or maybe they'll say, oh, we want to change these little things, we'll just do it. Or the board might say, oh, let's blow this whole thing up and send it back to the committee to rework. So that's kind of the way it goes. But ultimately, when the board approves it, or in the approval process, legal's going to have a look at it and make sure that that it's done properly.
Fully understood. I just wasn't sure of the sequencing of that, so appreciate it explaining, and that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Super. We've got a couple hands. I did not see it. I believe Mandy first and then Jamin.
For me, reading through it, I think just for consistency, it would probably be good to add the ORS in front of all of the numbers, just for the consistency of it. And question about grammar. I mean, it's a pretty run-on sentence, so I don't know if that's something that we need to worry about or if it's fine the way that it is.
This is yours to work on.
Yes, I like that suggestion, to have the ORS in front of each just for consistencies. Do you have recommendations for grammar change or run on?
Probably a period at the end of all the numbers and then start of a new sentence for in addition to, maybe. I'd have to read through it again and get real particular to figure out the best place for grammar.
So perhaps, so instead of just having it go on, maybe say 1A, 1B, because there's a format for rules.
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's a format for rules, then yeah, that would probably be a good idea to, so breaking down each very specific thing. Because it seems the first part is mostly the rules. This is, we've got in accordance with one rule, massage facility in violation of another rule, and employees or contracts persons who practice massage that are not licensed under 1, 2, 3, 4 different rules. So then the next, like 1A would be I guess in addition to any other disciplinary action should be part of that first one. So 1A would then be the board may post on the exterior of the premises a placard that states the massage facility is in violation of this rule. And the placard may also contain any other information required by the board. I had a question about that. Looking at the placards, does that include the information about human trafficking? Is that what that's meant to contain?
Which part?
The part that states the placard may also contain any other information required by the board.
Yeah, let me pull a copy. Did you see the sample placard?
I saw both of them, yeah, the yellow one and then the red and white one.
Perfect. So that's an example of what might be in it. Hold on.
I'm not against putting the information about human trafficking because I'm assuming that's what this bill is meant to counter and contain. But I'm just wondering if that's what that's meant to include.
And in this piece of that, I think that could be where we could tie in Jamin's concern of may post on all entry points to the premise. I don't know if the exterior really classifies the entry point.
I am also curious if, since each placard has the disciplinary action on it, does this mean that if a facility is in violation of several different things, then it could have more than one placard?
So I mean, the placard probably will become longer to include things. But I understand the aspect of the human trafficking, and it's one of those things that is indirectly addressing the way that this is, right? It's an unspoken thing, but we know that that's gonna help with that situation. But I think that the main purpose of this is for buyer beware, right? That's the term used. Is if you're gonna go into this facility, know that they are not licensed. Know that this is what you're paying for. So if you are hurt, you got warning going in. Don't support things like that. I think it's more so, but in hope that it would have, it will curtail, it discourage the aspect of human trafficking. But I think that the main focus is really what is in the statute is what we need to use. We need to be mindful of what is being in the statute and not add, I don't know how to put that, but not bring outside things into it, but stay within that perimeter while also making it vague enough that it's encompassing.
Yeah, I think that language is good. Specifically, the any other information required by the board is vague enough to be able to include whatever's needed.
Carol, did you have question,
I do.
feedback?
Yeah, just from the board perspective, there are certain things that OBMT can regulate. Human trafficking, unfortunately, is not one of them. The thing that we can for sure regulate is either licensed practice or unlicensed practice. I mean, that's pretty black and white, and that's what the placard can address.
And Jonathan?
Yeah, just a quick question, just as far as scope and signage or access to a business. Um, is something that's considered a digital placard as well, like as far as if the law is broken, you know, should we consider, or should something like this also be eligible to be put on someone's website so that they can't just move the physical address?
I think that's a great question, Jonathan. I had kind of the same thought as I was reading through all this information, but I'm not certain how a digital, I'm not a tech person. I don't know if that's something that could be even done.
Well, we don't have to resolve it now. I just was thinking I am a tech person, and I'm sure, you know, like if, as an example, like if there's a law broken or something like that, a website can be seized or like be put on notice from law enforcement. And I was just, if that is the, so it's just a thought that I was saying out loud, but I didn't want us to feel like or understand that we were containing or preventing someone from doing something with only physical placards at doors in today's world. That's all I was raising. And if it's something that it's possible, maybe it's a phase 2 or something like that, that's fine. But I just wanted to make sure that if we're trying to be complete or effective on enforcement, that would be something that would impact someone who is breaking the law.
Super. I believe Phyllis has her hand. Yeah, Phyllis.
I think there were a few people before me.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go Jamin.
I have another question, but I was going to follow up with what Jonathan said. I don't see any mechanism available to actually put something on someone else's website that would, but I do think if this is something physically put on entry points, a picture can be taken and posted to their Google listing, which would then show up that they are in non-compliance. That's where most people are finding these places is probably on Google. So that could be an option, is just uploading that picture to their Google business page. The other question I had was the number 2, the unauthorized removal or defacement would constitute a violation subject to discipline, fines, or both. Do we need to, should we define what the discipline and fines are and have that included in the placard? Because to me, that would be obviously significant to have that in place so that anyone would see this, doesn't want to just remove it, they actually know what the fine or discipline potential is.
We could reference it. We could say, you know, it said that discipline is in OAR 334 dash 020 dash 0010, for example. We could say reference it to this, the discipline as defined in that. But yes, that's a good idea.
Mandy. Are you there, Mandy?
I am, sorry. Go ahead.
You just had your hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. Perfect. And then Phyllis.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say that when the gentleman had the idea of putting a notice on somebody's website, I did get like a chill throughout my body of, free speech, something, a website. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer or a tech person as he says he is, but that seems a little to me overboard. The idea of usurping somebody's website. Even if these people are evil and doing wrong things and whatever they're doing, they got the placard for is terrible. But I just wanted to say my reaction was on a visceral level, just seems like that would open a can of worms for law enforcement or the board or anything to start putting notices on websites. And the second issue would be a purely practical one. If you put a notice on somebody's website, then you have to monitor that. What if they comply? What if they were innocently not licensed? I mean, we know that that's maybe not true, but what if? And then they get licensed, then who would follow up with that digital consequence that we invented, that wasn't in the law? So I just wanted to say that.
Perfect. And I believe, Karen, do you have your hand up?
I did. Thank you.
Okay.
Just to respond to something Phyllis just said, ever since I've been licensed, if you are advertising as a licensed massage therapist, that you have to have that information, like putting our license numbers out there. So this is part of what the board has been monitoring for years and trying to help educate the public. So I see putting a placard on someone's website not as a violation of their free speech, but as a warning to the public. So that's my clarification on that.
And I wanted to just jump into, and I'm definitely open to what serves and get everyone's input and feedback. But I just wanted to make sure that we're understanding that if we limit the violation notice and to physical means, it's not uncommon for a company to move its physical address outside of a jurisdiction or something like that and still have a following, or by still having the same access for the public or customers to access them. So if we're really trying to enforce anything, we need to make sure that we understand the realm of the entity, and the entity is both a physical and a virtual presence. So if this is too early to do it, that's fine, but I just wanted to make sure we had eyes wide open that doing physical things on doors is only part of any kind of imposing of a violation. That's all.
So before Mandy, before you go, just to clarify, so Jonathan, what you're trying to say is that in addition to, so when we go in and we post the placard on their wall, on their door, window, what have you, that we should also give them a digital copy to upload to their website.
Well, there's multiple stages of that, Akaite. I was just opening that it's not. It may not stop the people who are intending to violate it in the first place if they could just move their physical presence and still continue to do what they're doing. So if
Correct.
we're trying to, yeah. So
Yeah.
whether or not we provide it to them, if we provide it to them and then rely on them to upload it, I think that's going to be very less likely. So, and I don't want to by myself define what like. I was just trying to make sure that we're reviewing the scope and that the entity is not only the physical doors, the entity is a physical and a virtual presence is what I was trying to raise.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. No, I think it's really, I mean, I would have never thought about it I'm glad you brought it up, and it's something to consider. However, even with the physical facilities, they change hand all the time. You know, we could placard somebody today, tomorrow it's John Doe that's running the place, and it's a whole different person. In this, what I have seen thus far is that it is a game of whack-a-mole in this, what we are trying to combat. And the biggest thing here is that we at least want as many public as possible, because that's what we're charged with. And I can totally see the point about having it on their website. However, I think that would be beyond our jurisdiction and outside of our authority to be able to do that. It would be sweet. It would be anywhere we can combat this thing would be absolutely amazing. But that could be the next phase. Maybe the next legislative session, we put something in there saying we demand them to also put it on their website. But yeah, no, it's a really brilliant idea.
And thank you, Mandy. Do you have?
Yeah, just to add to the conversation, I do appreciate the idea of monitoring, like being able to give people notice in a multitude of places, not just physical but also online. But when it comes down to this specific thing, massage therapy is very physical. You can't really give a massage through the internet. So it's there's going to have to be a facility. And if that facility is in Oregon and they're not licensing their people and it gets caught, they're going to get a placard on their facility, wherever that facility may be. So, again, while I appreciate the scope of paying attention to everything, I don't think that that really applies. And I think Jamin put in the chat that it's not really something that is within our scope anyway. So placards on doors of the facilities where people are advertising massage is going to probably be the best bet we can do right now.
I will bring some ideas about electronic placard versions to the board. I think it's an interesting concept about requiring people to post placards electronically on whatever business presence they have. They could theoretically be fined for every instance we find of them not doing it. But it might require a statutory establishment to do this. But I'll bring that idea to the board. I think it's really interesting. I also wonder about the possibility of the board showing photographs of the placard on the place of business for like Yelp and Google reviews for these businesses. These are interesting ideas that are probably beyond the scope of this committee work, but I think that it's my job to kind of to send information back and forth between the board and this committee, and I'm going to bring those ideas back because I think they're interesting.
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of a diverse committee, and I'm grateful that Carol's in attendance, but that was going to be my capture of let's try to stay focused on the task in front, and definitely the creative thoughts beyond what we're tasked to do is welcome. It's good to let the board know that these are other things that we're sensing could be needed. So thank you, Carol, for bringing that forward from our work. I think Phyllis still has, yes, Phyllis has hand up.
Just wanted to say, I once Googled my name. I don't know how many years ago it was, but there was a letter to the editor that was attributed to my name. And if I Google my name, a lot of stuff comes up because I had a few articles published here and there. But I had this one letter to the editor that was attributed to me that was not me. And it took me quite a bit to get it removed. I did ultimately get it removed, but I guess the point here is that if we start messing with websites, and what if we make a mistake and then there's lawsuits because you destroyed somebody's legitimate business because we accidentally put, I mean, I just think that there's a lot to, I hear you that, this is beyond our committee, but I just wanted to put that idea out there that once you start with the websites and all that, it could open quite a situation that would have could have a lot of negative results for all kinds of people, both consumers, licensed people, as well as for the board in terms of legal action. That's all.
Super. So the joy of getting to be the committee chair, I get to refocus our attention. I think the conversation's been good, and I'm glad people are thinking big picture and long term. But if we can continue to walk through the language we do have in front of us, and I hope that we can have a semi draft form reviewed by the end of the meeting, as well as taking a look at the placards that are presented for today's task, so we can have those two pieces accomplished. So if we can continue through the language and highlight concerns, questions, clarifications to the current proposed language. Mandy?
So number 3 on here, the board may adopt procedures for posting, removal, and public notice. Is that about the placards? Because it doesn't say it's about the placards. I'm assuming it is because it's under the rule, but it doesn't specifically state that. It just says adopt procedures for posting, removal, and public notice. I guess maybe being a little more descriptive there would be helpful.
Do you have a suggestion?
Well, is it about the placards? Posting
Okay.
them, removing them, and public notice of them?
I was sensing that that's what it was, since it fell under the enforcement of placards category, but I do think that additional language would be very clear.
So maybe the board may adopt procedures for posting, removal, and public notice of placards or any disciplinary action.
Should we just add placard to the end? Because the notice could be in addition to the placard, but I don't want to limit it either. Just a thought.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking maybe
So
any
move
other
the
disciplinary action.
Okay, so say that again from the beginning and slowly.
The board may adopt procedures for posting, removal, and public notice of placards or any other disciplinary action.
How about the board may adopt procedures for posting, removal of placard or public notice or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that might work too.
And the joy of or and, I would recommend we leave a and public notice.
Okay.
So what about the board may adopt procedures for posting and removal of placards or posting. Okay, the board may adopt procedures for posting. It'd be 2 sentences. The board may adopt procedures for posting and removal of placards and public notice of disciplinary action.
No,
I guess
the
the
disciplinary action is something that happens
with the board.
Yeah, so
So what is the public notice? I guess that's where my confusion is. What is the public notice about? Are we publicly noticing, like, are we notifying the public of the violation? Is that what that means?
We're notifying the public of these people of this facility not being in compliance.
Okay.
And that is the placard.
And that is the placard.
Yes. Yes. So the board may adopt procedures for posting, removal of placard and public notice. Is that what you're suggesting?
I think that would be including the placard in there somewhere to make it clear that that's because when you read it, like if I were to read it as someone who maybe got a placard on the door and I'm actually reading it.
Okay, I think, okay, so what about this way? So the board may adopt procedures for posting, removal of public notice we do the thing. 1, placard. 2, public notice. 3, if that's a way to go about it to kind of.
That might work because then if you want to add something else. So you've got the placards and the public notice now, and maybe in the future something else needs to be added, then you can add another bullet point.
Okay, so we could say, but not limited to, that's usually the language. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the board may adopt procedures for posting and removal, but not hold on. Okay, you guys provide the language.
The board may adopt procedures for posting and removal. Board may adopt procedures not limited to posting and removal of, and then A, placards, B, public notice.
All right, so I'll take this and then I'll mold it over and I'll bring it back next meeting.
Super. How is everyone on the committee doing do we need a personal break of a few minutes and then come back? Or are we doing good?
Okay.
I'm fine to go.
Good.
Good to go?
I'm good.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to respect comfort. So back in the content of our first, I appreciate the efforts on number 3. It seemed like number 1, there was still some pieces that I sensed the committee was bringing up, and I just want to make sure we're capturing those.
I think similar to 3, we were discussing having bullet points under 1.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 being in accordance with ORS 687.250.4, upon a determination by the board that a massage facility is in violation of that rule and employs or contracts persons to practice massage who are not licensed under those 4 rules, in addition to any other disciplinary action, the board may, and then A, post on the exterior of the premises a placard that states the massage facility is in violation of that rule.
And I think that's where I would like to recommend on all exterior entrances to capture what Jamin's initial concern or suggestion was.
Okay, sorry, I'm a bit, we're back at number 1. John, are we back at number 1? Sorry, I was finishing
yes.
up. Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure the committee's concerns were heard on number 1 entirely.
Okay, so please let's take it slowly so I can make sure I got all the juicy details. Okay.
So I think it's all fine as it is, up to, in addition to any other disciplinary action, the board may. And then from that point, we'll do the bullets.
Okay, so don't start. So start the bullet, the A at post will be
Post,
A.
and then to include Jamin's, it's post on all exterior entrances of the premises.
Okay.
A placard that states the massage facility is in violation of ORS 687.021.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So we're adding post on all.
Exterior.
Okay, so before we do anything, we need to underline that. So that's a new text. So post on all exterior, remove the word the, correct?
On all exterior entrances. Do you want to include and exits?
Okay, so post on all exterior entrances of the premises a placard that states the massage facility is in violation of OR blah blah blah.
How
Can
about
you hear
just
me?
access, so you don't have to say entrance and exits?
Okay.
Access points.
Okay. Exterior access. All right. Post on all exterior access, of the premises a placard that states the massage facility is in violation of the ORL of the statute, and with a semicolon.
You could probably do a second bullet, so it would be
Yeah.
1A, and
Yeah.
then B would
Mm-hmm.
be the placard may also
Mhm.
contain any other information required by the board. And then C, notices must describe the specific violation and the unlawful status of the facility.
Okay, so then Anne cannot go there, so Anne will have to move.
And just to be a fun committee chair, I'm hearing the word exterior. And if a facility is an interior of a building,
Yeah.
I have concern that the word exterior would be limiting for enforcement to place it if there's an access that's within a structure.
So would it just be
Access
the
point.
access points?
I think the exterior to me seems, I know it's getting in the weeds, but I would hate to limit if there's an interior facility.
So maybe we add something to that effect as well.
No, just remove exterior. I think
I think
it's just
access points.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Glad you said that. It would be very difficult.
And I think this would be a good question for legal. I think the legal term for any place where persons are working business is premises, whether it be interior to a building or if it's a building in itself. That'd be my guess. I'm not positive. So if you say entry points of the premises, I think that still would cover all the bases.
Okay, all entrances of the premise. So leave the word entrances and take out the access point.
We're going to change entrance to access point.
Yep.
All access points of the premises.
Okay.
May post on all the access points of the premises.
Yep. How are you doing, Akaite? Are we giving you enough time? Are there any committee members that haven't had a chance to express feedback that would love to? All right, Akaite, are you set? I'm not hearing Akaite respond. Is anyone else hearing me?
I saw her shake her head.
Okay. The joy of meetings online. So the remainder of that, number one, is there any feeling towards the latter portion that people are not liking the languages presented?
Sounds good.
I am not able to hear you, Akaite. Your mic is showing on, but your voice is not heard.
Who?
Akaite.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm just typing to Akaite really quick.
It looks like her camera is working.
Yeah, and she just messaged saying that she can't hear me either, so she might have a connection speed bump. So while she's getting connected, how about we take a leap into number 2, since we kind of bounced over it and went to number 3. Is anyone reading number 2 and feeling we need to bring clarity of what the language is?
Okay, John, can you hear me?
There you are.
oh,
Yes.
yay.
Okay, I don't know what happened. It just threw me out.
No, you're fine. Did you have enough time on number 1 to capture the committee's proposal?
Yeah, yes, but I stopped hearing you at about number 2 when we were finalizing number 2.
Oh, clarify number 2, Akaite, when you say.
So I have the placard may, oh, sorry, 1B. The placard may also contain any other information required by the board. And notices must describe the specific violation and the unlawful status of the facility as noted or per ORS.
I think that's pretty good, just leaving it at
Yep.
Unlawful status of the facility.
Okay, all right.
And I think that's what the committee had, when you had lost connection, we had felt good about the remainder of number 1.
Okay, perfect. And I will share this once we're done. I'll share it so that we can make sure that we're all on the same page, literally.
Oh, that's super. Thank you so
And
much, Akaite.
I think number 2 is great. I don't have any problems with that one.
Does any other committee members see or sense need on number 2 to be changed, different, or perfect?
Jonathan, did you need number 2 read back to you? I know you're driving.
No, I was just saying that it was good for me. That's why I was giving my confirmation.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Not seeing any hands or hearing any voices, do we feel like seeing the draft that we've created from Akaite, and then we can bring a closure to this conversation for the proposed rule language, and then we can pop over to looking at the presented placard designs to see what the committee's sense of the images are. Is everyone good with that? All right, perfect.
How's that? Can everybody see that?
Does everyone have? Oh,
I can see it.
Perfect.
and to the right, there is a Zoom mode for those that are new to GoToMeeting, so you can individually zoom in if you need to.
So we need to add ORS in front of all of
In,
the numbers just for consistency on
in,
that first portion.
in number 1, yeah.
Got it all?
And persons, is that singular or intended to be contracts with persons to practice massage? What is the intent of persons?
Which one is this one?
I believe we're looking at where it starts ORS 687.021 and employs. Oh, you moved it down.
So person?
Where it says persons, yeah. And employees or contracts with
persons
who practice massage therapy or the employees or contracts with persons to practice massage who are not licensed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe persons practicing massage who are not licensed.
Okay, hold on. No, but I think it's a thing that they're doing rather.
If it's a facility to practice.
We have the massage facility already.
Yeah.
The massage facility is in violation. And employs or contracts with persons practicing massage who are not licensed under.
I think that, no, I don't think so. I think that what we're trying to say here is that they are employing or they are contracting with somebody to practice rather than
put it on the person.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that facility is doing the hiring of somebody who is not licensed to practice.
Okay,
I think it's the
perfect.
contracts with. So maybe if you removed with, it wouldn't be as confusing. And employees or contracts persons to practice. Does that make sense?
But you have to do it with the people rather.
Well, they're not really I mean, if it's a facility that's doing human trafficking, they're not really contracting with anybody. There's not but if you're wanting to include contracts, they are contracting people. They may be independent contractors, but they're contracting the person.
I know that I'm not supposed to weigh in on this in this way, but some simple punctuation would take care of this problem. And it's 2 commas, employs, comma, or contracts with persons to practice massage. That should take care of it. I mean, you could put a second comma after with if you really want to set those 2 different kinds of business relationships apart.
Okay. What do you guys think? Well, not you guys, for apologies. What do you all think?
Sounds good. I like the comma.
I like the commas as well.
And Carol, thank you because you saved your time at the board meeting level. Do you have another question, Carol? Your hand is up.
I do. There, if we could roll back to the part that we looked at first, I had some concerns just about, again, details. I think that it should say that after 1A, we should pluralize access points of the premises, because premises is plural. And anyway, I think that posts on all access points.
Yeah.
And I think it looks clunky, this transition between 1B and 1C, where it says the placard may also contain any other information required by the board. That's great. I don't know that we need this capitalized and a colon. C is another point, and I think we've established that in this case the placard is the notice, and I think C can just stand the way it is without this this and colon coming before it. And so anyway, just from a kind of a grammar and a writing clarity standpoint, I would recommend that. And we may we may take a scalpel to this on the board also, but I think what you're doing looks really good. Now I'm going to be quiet and go.
I was going to suggest the same thing, so that's fine.
Any other committee members feel passionate about what we're looking at now?
I agree with what Carol said. I don't know if that's passionate or not, but I agree.
I would say that's good passion.
Okay.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Hi, Kate, can you scroll down to 3?
Happily. Oh, so this is what I was trying to add to it. So I'm not done. Okay.
All right, how does that look for everyone? Committee members. Okay, perfect. Hearing none, I feel let's move to the placards themselves and take a look at those. That way we can give thoughts and suggestions on what is proposed. Is there a way, Akaite, you can bring those to the page or not?
Yes, yes.
Oh, super. Thank you so much.
Is that good enough to make it bigger? Oops. Is that clear?
That looks good.
Yes.
I'm looking at the copy that you emailed as well.
So not knowing, is the intention of the placard to be a notice for the public, and all the small print is informational? What is the intention of is our warning the biggest thing we want to have the placards highlight?
I know you haven't shown the white and red one yet, but I liked that that one had a space for the case number. Since this does state the facility is under investigation by the Oregon Board of Massage Therapists, I think including the case number might be helpful if someone wanted to look it up.
Can we see the second proposed?
Uh-oh. Did everybody just lose it or just me? Okay, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, she's bringing the white and
Oh.
red one up, the other one.
Okay, so obviously it's misspelled and this is an unlicensed facility.
Just make a note. One moment, please.
Jonathan, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, my thoughts are on the bullet points. I would recommend, or I'd ask for other input, but I think bullet 3 should be bullet 1 and bullet 4 should be bullet 2. If I'm reading that, if I'm a public, a member of the public, lack of proper training and knowledge, and increased risk of injury due to techniques would not be my top two things that would tell me that there's something wrong. I think that unsanitary conditions and lack of professional accountability I think those should be the first two bullets.
So you would order the last two to the top.
That's my feedback. I'm interested in what others think, but if I was a member of the public reading that, those first two would not tell me something red and warning and to not go in. That's like, that could be like, I could choose to do that on my own anyways without, that's my thoughts. I'm interested in what others think.
Yeah, that's the joy of committee work, Jonathan. We get to give these thoughts, so I appreciate it. I agree. I think the last one, in my eyes, seems like it should be the first, followed by the third, and then the top two pushed down. I believe Jamin, and then Phyllis, and then Carol. Thoughts, Jamin?
Yeah, I didn't know. Are we going through the bullet points? I didn't want to jump ahead if that's what we're.
It seems that's the flow we're going. Yes.
All right. I just don't want to hijack it and move it along.
No. The joy of committee work is there's really a loose structure because it's the creative minds working. So yeah, go for it.
There's just a lot of it is kind of like just verbiage. Certain things, kind of like to Jonathan's point. If we're trying to protect the health and well-being of the public, there are a few things. The order of the bullet points doesn't matter to me, but going with number one, lack of proper training and knowledge, and goes on to potentially leading to ineffective. I would just remove the ineffective because that's really not what we're worried about. We're worried about the harmful side of things. So that's just, I know it's a small thing. The next one, it says leads to potential risks at the very top. I would remove the word potential because all these things are risks. They're not potential risks. They are risks because this is an unlicensed facility. As far as the physical harm, I would add extreme physical harm, not excluding fatal injury, because there is things, especially deep neck work, back. I've heard of unlicensed facilities going extremely deep in the neck area, could obviously lead to stroke. So I would not hesitate to say that it could lead to extreme physical harm, including fatality. And then as far as the professional accountability, I would also add something along the lines that unlicensed facilities would not carry liability insurance for any said risks for injury. So again, I think this is trying to show that the public the dangers involved, and if something were to go wrong, there would be nothing there to help take care of them. Like, unlike a professional massage therapist, things happen, but at least we all have liability insurance, or most of us do. So
I would caution the suggestion that all licensees have liability insurance, because I don't believe the board requires that.
Well, no, I didn't say that. I said, 100% unlicensed facilities do not. So I would say they have no access to any sort of liability, because it's an illegal operation. So no insurer will cover that.
That could be something that you include in the lack of professional accountability bullet.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing. Yeah, sorry.
Ethical and professional standards as licensed massage therapists, not limited or including malpractice insurance.
Okay, so for me,
Okay.
please can you summarize so that I'm not sure where we are with the points. Are we at the first point still?
I was kind of hoping to hear committee members' thoughts on the language, and then maybe like we did with the previous language, once we've heard everyone's thoughts, then bring it back to walking through, so you're not trying to keep up with 3 different language changes. Does that sound okay, Akaite?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. And Phyllis has hand up.
Well, I was listening with interest to the gentleman about the different, about these points. I agree with, I don't remember who said it first, but yeah, putting lack of proper training knowledge as number one is probably a little bit too much information for the public. So I would agree with putting unsanitary conditions as number one, lack of professional accountability, and then, I mean, I don't know if we really have to, parse out the other two as much, like with I hear you what you're saying about extreme risks, but I'm not sure that a placard is the place to put something that we know, a too deep of a neck massage or whatever can result in stroke. I just don't think that's something we are trying to communicate on a simple placard. We're just trying to let the public know it could be unsanitary. I mean, people are going to read that and go, oh God, that's gross. And then they could talk to the people who are running it and they'll say, no, 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 we wash everything. So, this is all subject to human interaction. But I don't think we need to be all that detailed about the risks of massage therapy by unlicensed people. I mean, I don't know.
Thank you,
But I do
Jamin.
agree, unsanitary conditions and lack of professionals should be number 1 and 2.
Okay. Thank you, Phyllis.
Mm-hmm.
Jamin?
I'm sorry, I'll have to strongly disagree with that sentiment. Unsanitary conditions, well, obviously that is a fear. The reason why we become licensed massage therapists isn't because we know how to clean. We get trained on how to properly assess through intake process any contraindications. I would think increased risk of injury. I mean, as far, again, bullet point order doesn't matter to me, but I definitely wouldn't want to remove any of those bullet points or diminish them in any way, shape, or form, because honestly, that is the risk of injury, lack of training, along with professional accountability that all take, to me, priority over unsanitary conditions, because anyone could just say, well, we do have a clean facility, and honestly, some of these places, they're already kind of dirty, so it's the people going in there, I don't think are overly concerned about that being top of the list.
Yep.
Any additional committee thoughts on, can I get a sense of version 1 versus version 2 from the committee's eyes, appeal of the two? Is there a sense that one is more visually in line with your liking? And the mustard, I will call it, is version 1. The language is all the same, correct, Akaite?
Yes.
Okay. And then version 2 is the white with red.
I have one quick thought.
Okay, just one second, Jonathan. We've got a couple other committee members, and then we'll capture you if that's okay. Mandy?
I think Jamin raised his hand first.
Okay, I'm glad people are keeping track of hand raises. Jamin?
It's totally okay. I don't need to go for. I don't know. Visually, immediately, I was drawn more to the orange one, which I think you labeled as number 1. I like the look of it. It looks more professionally done. The consistency, to me, the orange is going to stand out. The other one just kind of looks a little janky, if I can use that word. But I will agree that I do like the idea of the case number being on there. So if we do go with the orange, I would absolutely have the case number on there, because that way the public can actually look it up and see what else is going on.
Thank you, Jamin. Mandy?
I opposite, actually. The red and white was more striking to me. but I do like both of them visually.
Okay, Jonathan?
I actually, my only thought is that the different colors kind of indicate like a progression or a severity level. So I'm fine either way, but I guess are we saying that we would only have one color and then that would be it? Because, you know, otherwise it kind of like comes across as like a warning and like a violation or whatever the case is. It looks like there's two levels of the infraction. So if there's only one as the outcome, then I guess I don't mind either one. But that's what I read from that is that there's two levels. There's a warning level and there's like a fault level with the red, like a complete stop. So I'm not sure how much that helps, but it one is like stop right away, and the other one is like keep going. You're just being put on notice.
And that's a great catch, Jonathan. I need to refer back to either Carol or Akaite on the intention of the two, if they're one only, or if there is truly a warning status and stop immediately status. So if either can speak to that, that would be great.
The board itself has not evaluated the relative benefits of either of these particular examples, and these are just serving suggestions, honestly. We didn't weigh in on that, but we for sure want to stop people from going into these facilities. That I think is a clear board mandate here. I had another question. I'm wondering if the whole darn thing could be yellow, only make the parts that are red on the red and white one red, so that it's red and yellow. I haven't, I don't have the tool at my disposal to make that particular, to make this thing look like that. But I also wonder about that, if it would be more striking. I think I like the idea of red, and I don't know. And again, the board has not weighed in on this, but because red really says, whoa, stop. But I think the things that are backgrounded in white on this, the red and white version, kind of vanish. So that's just my idea, my visual assessment.
Super. Karen?
I was just going to concur with Jonathan. When I first saw the attachments to the email that was sent out, I thought that the yellow was like the warning, and then the red was the actual higher up level. So just to add my thoughts there.
Super. All right. Thank you again for the discussion, because this is exactly the benefit to the board of having a committee with multiple views and multiple interpretations. The joy of being the committee chair is we are coming upon the time frame that we've allotted for today's meeting, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time because it's precious and it's appreciated. So if we can bring some last thoughts to the conversation about the placards and the imaging, so Akaite can have a product for our next gathering, so we can kind of bring this topic forward. Any suggestions? And then we will have public comment right before we conclude here shortly.
Are you wanting just a breakdown of everything we just discussed?
Yes, suggestions back to Akaite of what we would like to see her either change, correct, order of the placards that are in front of us, and possibly the coloration changes that was suggested of red without the white. So yes. And it looks
So
like Karen's got a hand up.
okay.
That was a mistake. Sorry.
Oh, you're just fine, Karen. Thank you. Mandy, did you want to continue?
Sure. So from what I'm remembering, and please correct me if I am wrong, we want to have lack of professional accountability at the very top bullet. And then there was discussion between the increased risk of injury and unsanitary conditions being the second bullet. I don't remember which one was thought of to be at the end. Possibly unsanitary. I believe someone said that folks going into these facilities may already know that it's unsanitary. Adding case number to the all yellow one. And then the suggestion to change it from red and white to red and yellow. I did not hear anyone talk about the boxes at the bottom. I noticed that the yellow one only had the National Human Trafficking Hotline on it, and the red and white one has the hand that says Stop Human Trafficking. That definitely gives you a visual stop.
It's also
So
got the hotline in the version Akaite is showing online.
yes, yeah, both of them have the hotline. Only the red and white has
The hand.
the hand.
Yes. So maybe just imposing the same language we can agree on one of the versions with the two different color choices might be, because I agree if we're going to stay consistent with language, just because a color choice is different, the language should be uniform.
As far as language goes, I think it was moving lack of professional accountability to be the first bullet and including language about liability insurance or malpractice insurance.
And what was that language, Jamie? Or Mandy?
I was just under the lack of professional accountability, just that unlicensed facilities would be unable to provide liability insurance.
It may not be.
Well, would not, because if it's an illegal operation, you can't have liability insurance against an illegal operation.
But you don't know that they're illegal until they
We could bring in the attorney.
they could be. They could
And in the lack of professional accountability language, I mean, an unlicensed practitioner is not held to any ethical professional standard.
That's right.
So to say the same, I think we could just strike the same and say any. And that kind of umbrellas what a professional is.
Yeah,
I
I
think
strongly object to the idea of putting the words insurance in this.
Yep.
I don't think the public needs to be thinking about that or knowing anything about that, or if somebody had a car accident and let their insurance lapse for a month. I mean, it just opens up a can of worms. The public, I've been reading this over and over, and I like how it's written. I think it's just fine, and we're not. The goal of this is not to educate the public about all the aspects of massage therapy, including having malpractice insurance. The goal is, I think, well met by how it's written here, just with the different, lineup of what we've already discussed. But I strongly object to saying anything about insurance. It just opens up too much.
Okay, so what I have is unlicensed practitioners are not held to the same ethical and any professional standards as licensed massage therapists.
That's
So
that
that's the-
I think that's good because what that's stating is if they're unlicensed, they're not getting the same or being held to the same standards as licensed massage therapists.
okay, and that will be number 1.
I do agree with
Okay.
Phyllis. I do like the language of this. I think it's very concise, and I understand the want to include the insurance aspect of it, but basically all of it that's stating to the public is that they are unprotected if they go into a facility like this.
I'm having so much fun with this discussion, but I also want to be respectful to our public attendees, and we are coming up on the time, which in all fairness, I would rather have a robust discussion like we've had today and get to table it over to our next encounter. So is that okay with the committee? Because I do want to respect everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone not okay with respecting your time? All right. Perfect. I like that. So at this point, we are going to continue our discussion, and I want to thank Akaite for her diligence of keeping up with the discussion and making changes today. I appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to Carol for taking more of your time to attend the committee work. It's appreciated, and your thoughts are helpful for us. I also want to give an opportunity at this time for any committee, or not committee, but public comment pertaining to the committee work that we're doing. And if we can have a hand raised, that would be helpful. And I'm seeing Daniel has a hand up. So go ahead, Daniel.
First, a mic check. Am I heard okay?
Yes.
Great. This was an interesting exercise in patience and restraint for me because along the way I had what I felt substantial things I wanted to say, and it isn't the time for the public to kind of inject themselves in the process. Having said that, I'm aware that it feels like we're beyond the point of integrating additional perspectives that may be relevant. So I'll let the committee deal with that if at all. I had 2 thoughts. I can highlight 2 thoughts. I had quite a few. One is in the wording in number 2. It's not in front of me, but I believe it was about unauthorized removal or defacement. I think there's lots of room. There's lots of room to pin that down because I could imagine the owner of the facility might say, well, I'm not going to take it down, but I'll move it, or I'll touch it in some way. And I would like to see, I think it would be helpful to really clarify that this is not to be adjusted. Like defaced could mean, well, I'm not painting over it, but maybe if I put a color sheet over it so it's less easy to read, there's ways for people to monkey around with it so it loses the effect of communicating to the public without actually removing it. So maybe just some revisiting of how a facility owner might stay within the letter of the law, but change change the effect of the placard. The second comment that I had is I have a background in graphic design. And so when I see the samples here, there's a lot of things. This is, by the way, this is communicating verbal information. It's not a visual imagery communication. There's a lot of words, and the words are the point of it. So in that, there's a lot of things that are working well, and there are some things that could be improved. And I just, for instance, like the white section on the one we're looking at now, the sea of black text at small type, it gets lost and one would have to really commit to focusing in. There's a hierarchy of visual communication of type font and placement and things like that. Rather than me try to pick it apart, I might suggest that this be run past someone who has some graphic design familiarity that could just maybe take the content and do some visual hierarchy tricks on it so it communicates well, because there is the risk of if certain things are not done well, then someone may not bother to look at it. There's a, oh, I'll keep walking kind of response rather than, oh, let me pause. And then there's the hierarchy is what's the second most important communication. And the third level, that sort of thing, that now is not the time to pick that apart. But I would think that even a student in school could just take a look at this and make some suggestions and not incur a graphic design, expense idea. I think I will leave my comments at that because of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Any other public comment at this time? All right, I am not seeing hands. I'm not hearing voices. And Daniel, you are heard. The committee heard everything you stated. So thank you for your expertise. And thank you for being so patient, waiting till the end of the meeting to make the comment. It's appreciated. Any additional housekeeping, Carol or Akaite?
Yeah,
All
so
right.
the next committee meeting, based on availability, would be on the 16th at 3:30.
And that's
And
of
then we will
March,
set,
not of
yeah, March.
February. Yes.
Thank you. Yes, March. Yes. Thank you. Carol Sacco, thank goodness.
I want to tell the committee thank you. Thank you for an awesome, robust conversation. I also want to remind every committee member that dialogue and discussion does not mean disagreement. It's just how we help get a better product. So thank you for being so involved today. I look forward to more of this. And with that being said, I'm going to adjourn the meeting and we will connect on March 16th.
Awesome.
Thank you for running it.
Oh, it's my joy. Thanks
Okay.
for making it easy.
Okay.